Mickey Hay Associates presents Setting Goals and Meeting Priorities, using 5 stages of creative problem solving.
What I'd like to do is introduce you to this 5-stage model that is called Creative Ideas and Innovative Projects Life Cycle. It's a very long name that is meant to be a lot less complicated than you might think. The way this was developed, and models are just, it's not real life. It's not a reality. Models are just models. It's a way of representing some ideas. We came up with this, Dr. Diane Chaddock and myself, to answer a problem that we had working with a team. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but if you ever worked with a group of people where you've got a project that you want to carry forward, but it gets stalled out, or it doesn't get to the right people. People don't know about it. You launch it and you think, this is the greatest thing to happen to this institution, but people don't understand it. Or you're done with the project and something fizzled, but you don't go back and figure out what was it that fizzled. And so we developed this in a way to help this dean's group, is what it was, help the deans all work together and start with projects to the right place, end them at the right place, and generate new ideas. So we've been using this all over the country with people in groups, companies, organizations, colleges, and it's been really great. But lately I've been seeing that this is a wonderful model for people to use on their own for their own problem solving, their own ideas, their own creative projects. So stage 1 is the first step of all of this, and this is where you kind of brainstorm for yourself. This is what you would do if you were going to do some internet searching. So let's say, for example, you think, I want to change my career. Well, what's the first thing that you would probably do? You'd start talking to other people, you would get on the internet, you would be looking at where you could get training for that new career. You would all start with scanning the universe. It's very abstract. You're looking at everything, all the possibilities. But at some point, you have to stop doing that divergent thinking and come to a place where you actually have an idea. Oh, I want to be a chef. That's the idea. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's the forming the thoughts and the information into that idea. But you're not yet at the stage where you actually have a plan. You just know, that's what I want to do. It's still kind of abstract, right? Because you don't know yet what that means, what that feels like. What would you look like if you were a chef? What kinds of things would you be saying to other people? What would they be saying to you? How would you dress? What would your hours be? That kind of thing. So you're forming those thoughts and information into an idea, but at some point you have to move on to stage 3. Stage 3 is where all that divergent thinking that's all over the universe comes down to, how am I going to make this thing happen? So this is where you define the outcomes and you really flesh out how it's going to look, what you're going to feel like, what are you going to be at the end of all of this. So let's say, for example, you'd say, well, I'd really like to lose some weight. So you define your outcome and what are the steps? Well, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to be a vegetarian. And that goes on with the next stage. Because when you flesh out that idea into very distinct steps and actions and processes, that's really concrete. That's where you make some decisions on how is this really going to happen? And how am I going to know that I'm successful in the end? Stage 4 is timely and accurate communication to all stakeholders. This is also a concrete step, and this is the step where you share this with the right people at the right time. So that's what I was saying. Let's say that you decide you're going to lose some weight, you're going to become a vegetarian. Well, you're going to need to share that with the people that you live with, right? If it's going to be affecting somebody else's life, you're going to need to communicate with them. I'm making some changes in my diet, which means I'm not going to be making hamburgers on Saturday night. So I want to just back up a little bit. We've been talking about making some changes or doing something new in your own life. But if you can imagine working in an institution where this stage 4 is most often forgotten or not done very well. So not everybody needs to know all the steps, all the stages, everything. But everybody needs to have some information. And you have to think very critically about who needs the information when. So, in other words, you don't do an email blast talking about maybe a construction that you're going to be doing at your business to everybody in the institution, because some people are not going to care. Some people are going to care and they shouldn't care. They're going to get involved and they shouldn't. And some people are going to get involved or upset when they should have been up here at this stage, right? So you have to be very critical about who you share information with when you're making a change and what that information should be. Stage 5, once you have fulfilled stage 3, your steps of your processes, is a place where you ask yourself, did I meet my outcome? And if I met it, did I meet it the way I thought? I mean, am I where I thought I was going to be, or is this a little bit different? Is it better? Does it need to be tweaked? Who else can give me information on whether I've met my outcome? So this is a place where you refine those processes and procedures. And it's very important to do this stage. This is where a lot of people, that just drops off. They don't think about, did I actually do what I said I was going to do? Because we're all on this journey where we continue to change and refine, but we don't really go back to, well, this was the idea in the first place. Did I meet that? Did I meet that goal and the objective the way I wanted to? So you assess and refine, and sometimes it means you have to come back up here. Well, I didn't really meet the goal, and I think it's because I didn't have enough protein in my vegan diet. So now I'm going to come back up here and look at a high-protein vegetarian diet and pull down some more information, and it regenerates the cycle. And so many people go through this almost intuitively. Have you ever done this without really realizing that you were actually taking these 5 steps? Exactly. So you do it in an intuitive level, but if it's something that's really high stakes, very critical, something that, if, for example, wanting to change your career, and it means that at the end you're going to be in a new job doing some new work, you want to make sure that you are going through all of these stages. So the idea is that if you're going to make a change, you're going to start a new initiative or a new project, you try to get people on your team who are good at all these different steps. So you don't have to have someone who's good at every single one, but at least get somebody on your team, and this could be just a support team, who's good at least at one of these steps so that they can help you get where you want to go.
Mickey Hay, PhD, is a respected consultant and coach with 25 years of counseling and administrative experience in higher education. Mickey has facilitated a wide array of programs concentrating on leadership development and peak performance.